you founded the company about 18 years ago in 2004 with your wife, and you've bootstrapped the entire organization, correct?
Yes, yes. I mean, it was like me and Shara, we got married and we wanted to travel.
Yeah.
Let's be very honest. And we said, you know what, we're going to do freelancing work. So we got
Hmm.
in a smaller project and we were traveling. We did not have kids. So we were
Hmm.
just doing the work as a freelancer. And then we
Hmm.
realized that we made few clients very successful. I remember there was a website, neighborhoodies.com. It was on New York Times and we were in Maldives or somewhere. And
Hmm.
3 a.m. in the morning, client called me, hey, our site is down. So I jumped on a call and that's how things started. We were
Yeah.
very passionate in early days to deliver success to the client.
Hmm.
And
So,
everything is just started from that journey.
got it. So I always ask this. It doesn't often come up because I don't have too many people I interview who are who are in business with their families. But it's 18 years of working alongside your wife. What would you say have been some of your challenges working together as a married couple? And, some of the things that you've really been successful at working together as a married couple?
I'll start with challenges. I think since you are living with someone, right?
Yeah, yes.
After 5 p.m., you still continue talking about business. Even my younger daughter always remind us when we are on the dinner table or we are going somewhere,
Stop
stop
talking
talking
about
about work.
business. You're
That
right.
has been a challenge because you may think that you are talking, but what happened then
Mhm,
you
mhm,
mix up your family life with work life.
mhm, mhm,
Now, advantage, I think we both understand each other.
mhm,
I know what is my strength and what is her strength. So
mhm,
her strength is more, in early days, let's say I was just communicating with a client, but I wasn't
mhm.
good at writing. She would write down the user story for development team. She is
Right.
very good with team member. I am
Mhm,
very good with client. So I was handling
mhm.
more sales. She was handling customer support. And
Right.
the role still, we are kind of co-CEO in the company right now. She handle HR and finance, which is more mature, and we need a stability of team of 160, where I'm still
Mhm.
doing business development, sales, and outside initiative and culture side of it.
Yeah, yeah, that's very good. Do you ever, other than getting your family and business life mixed up at the dinner table, um, do the two of you ever have any other sort of things that you argue about at all?
We argue all the time. I mean, even yesterday I argued with her. I think we do both understand that we both have uh, weakness. There's
Yeah,
certain areas. So argument happen all the time, but probably doesn't last long. I
yeah.
think we somehow come to a point where he said, no, you are right and I'm wrong. Or she
Mhm,
would say, you are right and I'm wrong.
mhm.
And we move on. But
Yeah.
argument has to happen. And I think not only we argue privately, we argue on the meeting. She would go to a stakeholder meeting and tell me that you
Mhm.
haven't done that properly, your budget, or you are
Ugh,
overspending on certain
ouch.
project.
Yeah.
And that may sound bad, but I think our team member has learned that. We are becoming a good example. Now they are arguing. And you know that, Carol, without argument on a meeting, you end up being running a meeting which is not effective. People are
Well,
just talking about
o
all nice
of
stuff.
course, and I think it's important, Shahed, to point out that it's how you argue, right? Some people are very nasty when they argue, and that's not productive for anyone, right?
No, no.
It's all about what you say. It's not about what you say. It's about how you say it, right? So I think I just kind of want to point that out in case anybody is thinking, well, I don't know. I've been in a lot of arguments and they never turned out very good. It's all in how you approach the argument.
I think mutual respect is very important. I think
I
when we
agree.
build our company culture, one of
Mhm.
the first point is be humble. So
Mhm.
regardless of whoever it is coming to meetings or other places, we cannot cross that line, right? We
Right.
cannot use any kind of wording which will hurt people or personally attacking people. How do we say that? And we point that out. And that has
Yeah.
worked well for us.
Yeah. No, I listen, I think that you make a really good point. Tell me a little bit about your journey to founding the company. as I said, almost 20 years ago at this point.
Yes.
You've done a lot of stuff. You've been an investor in the past. You came out of IT and so on and so forth. So let's hear about that to now, or
So
to
I mean, I would
2004.
divide this into three parts. Like early
Mm-hmm.
days when we started, we were bootstrapping, and we got some early success. But I think the biggest challenge initially it was that we were both young, and when we started expanding the team, we realized that how hard to maintain the team.
Yeah.
Getting client actually wasn't that bad. Somehow we got lucky and got some client. But when
Mm-hmm.
I was hiring people in Ukraine and India and other places, I started realizing that it is a lot harder. So we were up all
Yes.
night, sometimes explaining people, and we
Mm-hmm.
realized that communication is a big problem.
Yeah.
So we had to learn how to communicate in their language, how to
Yes.
make, how to understand their culture, even though I'm part from
Mm-hmm.
that part of the world, but I've been
Mm-hmm.
living in US for 30 years. So I had to learn that culture again and understand that, dealing with someone in Ukraine is different than dealing with someone in India or Bangladesh.
Right.
So that is the first part. I think the second part in from 2006 to 2010, we were growing a lot and we realized there is a growth problem
Mm-hmm.
because we both came from IT background.
Right.
So we had no idea about managing people, management,
Mm-hmm.
and that learning curve was really steep.
Yeah, that
I
doesn't
started
surprise
reading a
me.
lot of books that time because I did not have an MBA degree. I got some good mentor, and
Mm-hmm.
that really helped us to set certain guidelines, and we started building team. So it wasn't our company. I think
Right.
early few years it was our company, and then it became people stakeholder company. So we
Mm-hmm.
started having people who has stayed with us till today.
Mm-hmm.
We have 21 stakeholder. Most of them
Mm.
are have finished 15 years, 12 years. So those
Wonderful.
early founding members, I would call them in second phase, we started grooming them. We started empowering them and they were taking care of the business.
Yep.
And then third phase, I have to say scaling up was the hardest part,
Yeah.
which took us to the next level that now that we have a structure, now people's expectation is higher. We crossed
Mm-hmm.
$1 million, I think 2010, and then
Mm-hmm.
it took us almost 10 years to cross 2 million plus. The
Oh,
reason, I mean,
interesting.
not 10 years, about 8 years, but
Yeah.
from 2015 to 2022, I mean, 20, we were actually going through scaling up. So we started implementing EOS,
Mm-hmm.
the traction book,
Mm-hmm.
and the scaling up. We started following process. So we created company culture, we created process, we
Mm-hmm.
built
Mm-hmm.
management team, you know, goals and objective, everything what bigger company used to run. But nowadays, I think a lot of our industry people are following those process. So those standard has been set in last 5 years, and that was probably the hardest part
Mm-hmm.
of doing it.
You mentioned that management was a very steep learning curve, and you started reading a lot of books, and the stage three, the EOS processes and putting them into place. Did you move through all of this just by reading books, or because I don't believe, as an author myself, I've called myself out in my own book that a book is not going to solve all your problems
Nope, it does
because you
not.
can't
I think
interact
it's,
with a book. So did
yeah.
you also bring in experts in these areas to help you with this? Make sure you were on the right track. Give you
Yes,
coaching, advice, whatever that might be.
I had a lot of people along the way to help me. I mean, I'm just saying that initial period, one thing
Yeah.
I did, I used to go to Quora and search for the problem I was facing, how to motivate team member. And John Maxwell was my Patrick Lencioni's book. Like I
Yeah.
was rereading the book and applying the technique which I read online to people. Along the way, I met a lot of mentors, business coaches. Sometimes they're not officially hired, but people I knew, I would go
Mhm.
and talk to them. Even a hotel owner I know, I would say, "How do you do that?" And
Mhm.
that curiosity actually helped us build the company. And we both actually took a lot of people advice. We are good listener when people give
Mhm.
us advice instead of thinking that we are always right. So that
Mhm.
helped us.
Carol Schultz here. Thanks for watching this excerpt from Authentically Successful. The conversation doesn't end there. So if you want to hear this episode in full and all my conversations,
with many other successful founders and CEOs, please visit verticalelevation.com/podcast.